Good evening, everyone. My name is Inko, and this is episode 69 of our Mordor campaign. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Episode 69. Oh, anyway, we are coming down from the high that was last episode, or at the very least, I am. I'm hopped up on methamphetamines now because of that huge 7,000 orc battle that we experienced in episode 68, and first things first, for episode 69, what we have to do is annihilate Captain Rinkavornen in the east, which is, amazingly, in the same turn. So, when you think about it, turn 174 for Mordor is just fucking absolutely insane in the membrane. But I think what we ought to do is take a look at his army. It's mostly elvish infantry with a few units of horse archers, a lot of woodland warriors, which are a bit of an issue, and then one singular unit of Sylvan heavy archers, which is heavily damaged. So basically we have to deal with a lot of light infantry, which should be no issue for the 3 units of trolls. That's right, 3 units that we are going to be using in this battle. So anyway, without further ado, let us attack Rinkavornen. We've got another 5,000 men, orcs that is, against 1,700 elves. It's going to be nuts. But anyway, I shall see you all on the battle map. Oh yes, we are on a very shitty battlefield today, because of course it is the dead marshes. We're going to try to force the elves into attacking us with our massive troll catapults, which are going to fire at these missile cav, who we will probably try to chase off with our spiders, etc. I think our troll catapults are going to be a little while. I don't know if they're having issues firing or what the okay, there we go. They're going to get into position. They're going to throw some rocks on there, and look, I don't know. There's like 10 million of these guys just sitting around not doing much, and then boom, here it is. There's what we're looking for, and we completely fucking missed. But we want flaming ammunition so that we can actually see what's going on. Okay, so it looks like a bunch of elvish units are advancing on us. So we'll grab our entire line, save for those, that catapult rather, and we'll move forward like so. There we are. I have, of course, gone for the newfangled, orcish Marian reform. I would say it's the Dawn Death, reform of the orcish army. We've got orc bands, just chock full to the brim with, Urukai, etc. We're going to run our orc bands forward to really utilize their, capabilities for soaking up damage. We're going to try to herd in the archers and the missile units with our cavalry and our infantry here. Look at this. We've already kind of suckered the enemy archers, horse archers, into a shitty position here, because we're going to block them in with all of our flanking units and our infantry. But we're going to chase down this unit with, I would say, our... Okay, never mind. They managed to run away quite easily. I was hoping that it would take a little bit more than that, but no. We are losing spiders. Our Olaghai are just going to come around the fucking absolute flank whilst we get these guys to come a little bit forward. We want all of our infantry... that is our main line, full of Uruks, etc., to advance as well. Our flanking forces need to continue. Okay, so now we've got Dwar of Wa coming. He's going to try to intercept some of these horse archers, like so, and our spiders are tearing through a unit already. Our orc bands, holy shit, are absorbing the charges and tying down all of these enemy elvish units, and we are immediately going to be receiving huge amounts of casualties from those units. Looks like all of their archer units are trying to flee. We definitely need our units to come into support. Okay, so we'll get around the flank with some of our maulers, I think. Looks like Dwarvois is going to... Oh, he's receiving huge amounts of archer fire. We need our Uruks to get involved here somehow, something like this. I think I probably moved my orc bands a little too far ahead, but you live and you learn. I mean, I live and I learn. These orc bands, of course, do not, but that's just kind of what you live with, I suppose, as an evildoer. Okay, so we have torn down A couple units with our spiders. Dwarf Wa is still receiving fire, but we want to come around the flank with our Oleg High and deal some real damage. So, speaking of damage, our Orc Raiders are going to come around the flank like so, and just fucking let loose. Our Uruks are going to come in as well. We want our Raiders to really get in there. Dwarf Wa is still engaged. We want our Oleg High to engage those Horse Archers. Look at this, we'll get some Orc Maulers in there. Our Spiders are still tearing down some Sylvan Horse Archers. Our fucking Troll Catapults are still firing as well, holy fuck. Can our Oleg High do it? Can they manage to chase down all of those men? Hard to say, but we will continue to surround the enemy infantry with our very own infantry. These Orc Maulers need to come help out Dwarf Wa, I would say, kind of like so. Our Oleg High are just going to tear through all of these archers who are trying to flee from the Orc Maulers, etc. Unfortunately, there are some Forest Wardens there who will do some damage to our units. Okay, we killed the captain. I thought Dwarf Wa died there for a second, and I was going to say, mother fucker, but it appears that we are lucky, and that has not happened. Our Morning Guard are just going to try to plug up some gaps there. These Orc Maulers are coming to assist. We want these Raiders to chase off those archers. There we are. We desperately need to assist Dwarf Wa. I think he is surrounded by... Well, never mind. All sorts of units have run away. We will rout these archers here because it looks like we've just got a mass rout with the death of that Elvish captain. And now we just need to get those Horse Archers, and I think we're good. This is a pretty good battle against an Elvish army, I tell you that. What we need to do is charge forward with our Orc bands, who have just been completely annihilated. We'll consolidate, like so. Obviously place our Uruks inside those lines. I don't think there are any Elvish men left, so we will just try to capture as many of them as possible. If anything, we need to chase down the Elvish Horse Archers, which is a bit of an issue. Who is fighting these Raiders? And they are fighting what? Forest Wardens, who are broken, it seems. Who is fighting? My Halberds. Okay, they're attacking units that are fighting to the death. Dwarf Wa is receiving casualties from these... oh, I see these Sylvan Light Archers who are running away. We desperately need to kill some of these guys before they reform, because holy shit, there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. And where are our Oleg High? Okay, our Oleg High are going to try to break those Sylvan Heavy Archers. There we go. Dwarf Wa needs to do some damage before the majority of these guys get away, because there's a lot of them, as I keep saying. We just need to keep the pressure on. Our Spiders are not keeping the pressure on. They are actually lounging back, drinking some beer, pouring out one for the homies. That is the Spiders that were killed by the Elvish missile units this battle. There we go. We wiped out one unit. I'm not sure who is still fighting. Okay, there we go. You may as well watch me run down all of these assholes, because it'll be loads of fun. Just total loads of fun. I think we did very well there. We only lost 10% of our men. We didn't even get to utilize our allies, because we are destroying the enemy very easily. You know what? I think that that Orc band tactic is pretty good. We are just absorbing most of our losses in our Orc bands, and then just immediately destroying the enemy with the overwhelming numbers of our hammer, which is our Oleg High, our Nazgul, and just like the flanking Orcs. But anyway, I think that's about it. We'll just continue to run these guys down, and then we can execute all the... oh shit, these guys are trying to slip by. Look at that, there's just huge amounts of men here. I thought those were Orcs for a second, but no, that's just huge amounts of Elves that we really need to capture. So we're going to try very hard to do so, especially these Woodland Warriors, because they are very annoying. I'm not entirely sure how many of these guys we will cut down, but Dwarf Wa will do his damnedest. Holy shit, yeah. He's just chopping down so many of these guys. Can we possibly turn them away from the edge of the board as we are doing now? It looks like it. Okay, so we can finish off these Sylvan Spearmen, and then turn right around and deal with these Woodland Warriors. Holy shit, we've captured so many elves, it's nuts. But anyway, everyone, I will see you guys with the stats, and therefore I will see you guys also on the campaign map. Look at that, there's a huge amount of Forest Warden's trying to get away there as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys with the stats. So we've had yet another very successful battle. We lost 430 orcs, as you can see, and we managed to kill or capture 1,400, nearly 1,500 elves, so it was a very decisive battle for us. Ren the Unclean did not manage to do fucking anything this battle, so he's feeling a little red in the face. But we've managed to heal, well, not a huge amount of casualties. But anyway, we will have to retrain those orc bands before we push out, which is not hard at all. We can pretty much retrain orc bands in Malgalad, if anything. And the Blackgate. We've got 6,000 gold worth of prisoners, but as usual we will execute, because we just need to kill as many elves as possible. Okay, so we will merge some of these units here and receive some reinforcements from Ren's army, like so. And we will transfer... what am I doing here? I need to transfer this unit, take these units, there we are. So we've got 3 orc bands again, and then this unit will need to... I don't know, can we retrain in Malgalad? We most definitely can, so they will head there. And we can even recruit some units in Malgalad for Ren. We do actually have some units in the Black Gate as well, which can be used, but it's not really important. We are retraining units in Barad-dûr itself, and we will receive them next turn. And I think it is very much time to end the turn. I'm very pleased with how those battles have gone, but I'm a little concerned about Captain Rudon. We'll see if Adu can handle it, or even if Captain Rudon will, I don't know, maybe he'll turn around and fucking flee. I could not say. Okay, Radthak is trying to adopt yet again. We don't need any generals over by Radthak, who is currently residing in Edoras, I believe. Dunharrow? Yes, here he is. We don't need any more generals over here. Well, I suppose, actually, we do, kind of, for the governing of Entwade. But, most importantly, though, we can see that, as we predicted, the elves have besieged Woldburg. Which is unfortunate, because a singular turn later, and Adunafel would have been able to actually get inside the city. I'm surprised they did not attack the city, because they do have a catapult. And we will get to attacking them, but for now, we need to address our finances. Look at this. We've got 21,000 gold, and somehow we are making 7,000 fucking gold a turn. I think we are missing a lot of upkeep in our armies. For example, Dondeth's army has been demolished a little bit in those battles with Rohan, and has been diminished, much like Adu's army, and, well, to a lesser extent, Dwarf of Wa and Ren the Unclean. Likewise, though, Thornburg is being besieged by Captain Nimtolian as well, so we'll have to address that at some point, but they only have 3 units, and I wonder if our archer towers will be enough to turn them away. Not entirely sure. Okay, Woldburg has been besieged. We have made 18,000 gold in one turn somehow, and now we are the richest faction. Holy shit, we're the most advanced faction. We have completed a troll cage in Mount Doomington, which means that we can now recruit another unit of mountain trolls for the battles on the east. Maybe we will do eventually, but we have built a fairground in Minas Tirith as well, which has increased trade to 2,100, which is crazy. If we build a great market, it will increase trade another 100 gold coins. So that means we would pay off this great market in 63 turns, which is kind of crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Okay, I'll deal with all the admin probably off screen, for example, taxes, etc. Public order of Woldburg, Entwade, etc. Everything we want to deal with right now is kind of the current events of, with Rohan and the elves. For example, the Rohirrim are marching on Edoras now, which is very much lacking a garrison. So what we need to do is grab Hormarath and bring him back to the city. And, in fact, it may be better to force a bridge battle. But then this guy can... Well, it'll be a turn until he at least arrives there, so we can grab Hormarath and all of our units we can muster, for example, the reinforcements we have in Aldburg, etc. And we will stick him on the battle just to on the bridgehead, that is, so we can force a bridge battle. We definitely need halberds, whatever spears we can get. I would say missile units are a good unit to have as well. We will merge our raider units Grab these Orc Band. That's probably all we can grab from Edoras. For now, maybe Muzzluck. Okay, we can grab Muzzluck as well. How about these 2 units of Orc Band? Well, that will send Dunharrow into a fucking tizzy, so we'll put 1 unit back. There we are. Aldburg, how's the... Okay, we can turn down the taxes there so that we can levy some of these units and press them into service. For example, Zagrad. Well, these Orc Maulers will arrive in a turn or 2. Perhaps a unit of Orc Raiders. Yes. Another unit. Yes. Okay. Can we turn the taxes up? We can. Edoras itself can probably... Oh, man, it's like a turn or 2 away. Well, I say a turn or 2, but it's really 7 turns until we can recruit anything because our culture is now on the upside. Aldburg itself is actually not too bad for culture. Look at this. We can now recruit Maulers, Morning Guard. It seems that we can get a bunch of missile units, which is not really necessary at this point. How's Entway doing? We already demolished all the buildings, I believe. We can retrain these units for armor, but we can't actually recruit anything other than spies, which is a little bit useless. Let's see, do we have any spies available? I know that there is Luglun here who is going to take a look at the northern borders, and I can tell you right now that there's not a lot except for half a stack of elves here, and Captain Yenfrid, who is probably, you know, the remnants of Wuskfri's army, etc. We definitely need to take a look east of Foldberg, get a better idea. Nothing marching towards Entwade, but Foldberg itself is garrisoned by Sabert and a huge amount of catapults, it seems. The Rohirrim are just going completely caca for catapults. And then there's a bunch of activity around outside of Ginyard. So I think what we want to do, as I've probably said in the comments, what I would like to do is capture Foldberg and Fangorn and gift them to Isengard. I think that would be really good. So then we kind of have a buffer state between the remnants of Rohan in the west, the remnants of Gondor in the west, because we've got, you know, Harad, and then we don't have to deal with, you know, Arnor in the north, etc. And we can just wholly focus on the elves. We can do like a pincer move, pushing north and taking Dol Guldur, whilst also simultaneously capturing Tirith Anduin, whatever the fuck this is, Limelight Fort, and then the capital? Karis Galadin? No, the capital is... where? It's somewhere. They must have moved it. I'm very confused as to where the capital is now. No, that's Moria. I don't know. I could not... If you were to put a gun to my head and say, can you point out the Elvish capital? Well, looks like you gotta bury me because I have no fucking idea where it is at this point. I foresee a bit of issue with Dale if we are focusing on the elves. Speaking of the devils, we've got another familiar face here. Captain Adanian has marched through the mountains north of Malgalad. It appears that Malgalad, the mountains around Malgalad, rather, are a bit of a security loophole that the elves keep exploiting, unfortunately for us. So we're going to have to mobilize Dwarf Wa as quickly as possible and rebuild Ren's army with all of these units that we have replenished and retrained. Namely these Orc Scouts, but mostly these Uruks here. So he's got 2 units of Trolls. I think what we could do is actually recruit another in Mount Doomington, and we'll give a unit of Mountain Trolls to Dwarf Wa so that we can get rid of the spiders, because they're a bit of a liability, because, you know, we have to go all the way to Mirkwood to replenish them. Whereas Trolls we can replenish in Mordor. I mean, Mordor is just as far away from the front line at this point in time, but eventually I suppose when we capture Thornburg and Dol Guldur, it will become the front line, and therefore spiders will be easier to recruit. But for now, I think we need to try to throw some cash down on our recruitment on the front lines. As I said, I want to build some shit in Hnethanoon. Perhaps a Boyar would... well, that would not be really worth it. Maybe in the Black Gate we can build like a leather tanner or something. well, we may as well do in Niiiiine, so we can recruit some orc bands, which we will probably need. Carandros, likewise, we can probably build. Well, we can't actually build a better barracks there, so we're not going to bother. But in Durthang, we can build... Oh, shit, look at this. We can build mines, which would pay themselves off in, I don't know, 20 turns or something. But we may as well build those after this Boyer. Mount Doomington itself, shit, is pretty booming. We can build all sorts of stuff. I think we ought to build a leather tanner as well as a camp guard, so that we can actually recruit raiders, etc. I believe, yeah, that unlocks raiders. In Barad-dûr, there is nothing worthwhile building. Perhaps Minas Morgul, Cirith Ungol, I'm not sure. I think the Blackgate, Durthang, Mount Doomington, and Niiiiine plus Barad-dûr is a pretty good recruitment center. Minas Morgul and Cirith Ungol, not so much, because they're now kind of in the ass end of our offensive in the north. Maybe Little Marshwall. Well, it's one turn away from upgrading at the very least, and maybe we can build something there eventually. But I think we want to focus on the Blackgate, Niiiiine, Durthang, Mount Doomington, and Barad-dûr for the time being. And then this will strengthen our ability to reinforce in the north, and we may as well build a leather tanner in Malgalad as well. If we can armor our shitty troops a little bit better, very cheaply, we may as well do. I mean, Carandros, rather, is not too far off from Malgalad either, but I mean, it's just between it and Niiiiine, there's like no roads, which, I mean, again, is pretty much like the Blackgate. That's the problem. Our front line is very hard to reinforce right now because we have to march through these marshes, but at the very least, we can recruit some, well, not much in Carandros, actually. Not a lot, but we still have a ton of gold left, so what do we want to do? Do we want to throw down some buildings in Edoras, for example, a Dark Temple, for 5,000? That will increase our culture conversion, which would allow us to strengthen our front lines in the west much quicker as well. So we may as well do... the quicker we convert these territories, the quicker we can replenish and recruit our units in the west on the front line. So we may as well do... I think Druidan Forest... can it use a grain exchange? It will increase trade by 3 coins. Not really worth it. Why... Oh, I'm trying to upgrade Druidan Forest. I see. Which will happen like a million years from now, basically. Nothing worthwhile building there. Minas Tirith, we can build a heavy armorer, which will allow us to arm all of our men with the best of arms. And we may, well, you know what? We'll do it. We'll throw down 6,000 gold to build that, because Minas Tirith is primarily the recruitment center for our offensive on the west, with Arnak and Pelargir being kind of like supporting roles. What's our conversion like here? Yeah, look at this. It's been, I don't know how many years since we've captured these territories, and we're still struggling to convert the territory. But anyway, I think this is probably the end of the video. It's going to be a little bit short, but off camera, I'm going to do a little bit more administration to, you know, kind of recuperate from our sweet battles that we fought. And then when we come back next episode, we will, of course, break the siege on Woldburg. We will advance on Captain Adanian, and all that good stuff. So thank you, everyone, for watching. We are making some good progress lately. Holy shit. What we do need to do, though, very briefly, is grab Dawn Death and just kind of sneak north. And then we can build a watchtower right on this bridge, so we can keep an eye on there. And then we will do the same for the rest of the territory eventually. But, as I had said, thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll end it here, and I hope to see you guys all with episode 70 of our Mordor campaign.